Okay, Craig, we've just been disappointed is
Have
the
we?
word to say on the defense. It's what we thought to a degree, but this is just frustrating. And so Dan Campbell has got some plans to change up the defense. And so just before we get into that, and there's three things that he's going to do defensively to give us a chance. When you just watched that game against the Seahawks and then I guess all of our games defensively, is it what you thought or is it like, I don't know, it's worse? Like, where are you at with the defense and what you're seeing?
Yeah. So where I'm at with the defense is, and what's killing me the most is the inconsistency. I see us completely shut down the rushing attack of the Commanders. I see us get just destroyed and by the rushing game and in a couple other games. I've seen us shut down aerial attack of the Vikings for 3 quarters, and then I see us just completely get blitzed by the Seahawks. So I think what's frustrating to me is that each unit has shown they can do it. But other outside of the Commanders game, which a lot of people are stopping them, we haven't shown that we can stop anybody on all levels of the defense. And the only part of the defense that I would say that I'm not angry with or that is not like been just unbelievably bad is somehow linebacker, which makes no
Mm-hmm.
sense. But and maybe that's just because they're in the middle, it's harder to notice. I just here's where I'm at. I'm just frustrated with the inconsistency of the defense.
That's a great way to say it because you're right. There's things in there that's like, hey, I even said my words were like, hey, it looks like we're not gonna suck this year. Like I was just so
Your word.
excited about that because we played the Commanders well. And it's like, oh crap. Are we going to? Because um and Dan Campbell said this today. What we have is guys that don't know where they're supposed to be. So then the guys that do know where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to do, they're now compensating for those guys and now they're out of position. And now you just lead to huge plays, just completely broken coverages. I mean, if I see another quarterback just look, and then decide, well, geez, I had no plans to run, but you know what? I'll take off and
I'll
just
go for
get
30.
30 yards. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you just don't see that. So here's what Dan Campbell's going to do. We'll go through each one, Craig. First one, let me pull it up here. We're going to shake up the roster. So
Okay,
he
shake it up a
didn't,
little
he,
bit.
yeah, he was asked, all right, who's going to come in? Wouldn't say. He did say that Demetrius Taylor, who played really well in the preseason, he's been a
Yes, he
healthy
did.
scratch. He's going to come in. So we're looking at Demetrius Taylor on the defensive line. We're looking at a bunch of secondary guys, Iffy, Bobby Price. Secondary's looking weird. Could look different. So when you hear
Mhm.
just like we're gonna shake up the roster, do you think, hey, that's a great idea? Or, I mean, that doesn't give me any hope.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, is it the players or is it the coaching? And because it's like when you say and you talk about, can I trust you? Are you going to be where you're supposed to be? And we need to put new players in, take other players out. It's like, do we have multiple players that aren't where they're supposed to be? Do I
Right.
put that on the players or do I put that on the coach? This is the second year for most of these guys in this system, unless they're a rookie. And so when we're looking at this, and I understand we changed a little bit, but it's second year with Aaron Glenn, and the
Yep.
whole defensive coaching staff is intact. So I think I struggle just saying, okay, it's on the players. I just struggle saying it's on the players. I really do.
Yeah. And that's why I wonder because, and that's another thing. That was number two fix is we're going to simplify things. So I don't know
That's coach speak.
how complicated it's been or what's going on, but we're going to simplify because I just wonder, do we just don't have the playmakers. We all knew that on defense, but there's just
Yeah.
some things that you see, some just busted coverages and things where the quarterback can run. It's like, okay, I know we don't have the premier talent on defense, but we can still be in the general position to make something
Yeah.
happen. This looks like, I
Right.
mean, how many bootleg passes to the tight end did the Seattle do? Where it's like, boy, that seems like you'd cover that at some point in
Or
the off
just
season.
fourth quarter, Rashad Penny for 25 yards. Like just a run's coming and you can't stop it. And
Mm,
that's the difference. Last week they knew the Vikings knew we were going to run. They stopped it. This week we knew
that's right.
Seattle was going to run. We can't stop it. And I think it has to. Yeah, you can talk injuries, but here's the thing. I'm more apt, and I hate to say this because I know everybody's been drinking that Aaron Glenn juice and Kool-Aid, and I have to an extent.
Yep.
But the offense is the best offense in the NFL right now, statistically speaking, points wise. I mean, all of that. And there are injuries galore on the
That's
offense.
right.
And even with injuries everywhere, our two receivers, two linemen, starting running back, we put up 45 points. And it's the defense, which has a couple injuries, that is just getting, it's like Swiss cheese out there. You know what I mean? And I'm very, very concerned that this is a coaching issue, not a personnel. And I think I had that concern going in when you had games last year where all right, scheme hit and we'd play really well. Scheme didn't hit and we'd give up 40 some points.
That's
And
right.
we're starting to see it happen again this year. So it's almost like, well, if we're wrong, we're wrong. And that's it. And
That's a great point. You saw this last year. We shut teams down. We're playing the Ravens. This scheme is working. Lamar Jackson, you can't do anything. And then, yeah, you a couple weeks later, you give up 50, 45, whatever.
Yeah.
And exactly. So I'm just curious to see. I'm glad to hear Dan Campbell saying we're gonna shake things up,
which you have to.
Yep. But it's also like, that's not great. If you're 3 weeks in, 4 weeks, whatever we're in, and you're revamping everything, and it was just a gut punch, really, because I think we all saw, like, okay, I thought our defense was going to be better. I thought we would be more consistent. You said just the inconsistency is insane to me, and I don't know.
Can I say this though? The talent on offense is more proven, right? You have Swift in his third year. You have St. Brown in his second year. Goff in his seventh, eighth. I don't know what it is. Ragnow's experience. Sewell's a second-year player. Decker's been around for a decade. You know, I mean, like, there's a lot of guys who have been doing what they're doing for a long time.
That's true.
And we've spent a lot of money on the offense. There's a lot of money there. And on the defense, it's either unknown or young. And so, you know, because I think there were questions for everybody going into this year, and we knew we were 1 or 2 injuries away from being real thin. So if Hutch isn't a just straight baller, which he has been for 1 game, just not the other 3, and, you know, all of a sudden, you know, if Pascal goes down, if Jerry Jacobs goes down, then Tracy Walker, now all of a sudden you're like, oh man, we're in trouble. And so maybe that's the part of the rebuild that we're struggling with is, all right, we rebuilt the offense, but the defense is still kind of miles behind just from a talent. So, I mean, we always talked about how good the offense was going to be, but the defense just has to hold water. It's not holding water.
Nope. And it's so encouraging to see, hey, this offense is modern. It's moving the ball.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's why we're so frustrated. It's like Goff is, I think, 3rd in the league in pass yards, and we're up and down. And then what happens is when your defense is bad, then the mistakes that Goff does make is just killer. And it's like, I get it, but it's like, it's not him, but you know, he big a pick 6 in a couple games. That's it. The game's over. And I get it, but it's like, it's the defense, because we're already down 2 scores. He does that. Now we're down 3. You know, the whole thing is just, that's why football is so fun to me. It's complementary. So many things affect one another thing. Then when you're half of your team is just not playing well, it's just very difficult to overcome.
It's very difficult to win. It is. And I think that's the most frustrating thing about this. And this is probably another video, but hey, maybe competing in every game isn't as much fun as we thought it would be. You still just want to win, because like last year we were 0-4 just getting rocked, you know? And so all of a sudden we're 1-3 this year. We're competing in every game, and somehow it hurts more. I think it's just understanding that this is a process. We all hoped we'd skip a year. I still think there's hope for this team coming on the other side of the bye week in week 6.
I agree. A lot of time left, but
a lot of time
there is, and we'll just have to see how it goes, and that's the fun of it. So, yeah, make sure you subscribe. Let us know your thoughts. It's been frustrating. It's been a little weird, but it's where it should be almost. I don't know why that feels right to say, but we're 1-3. Hope to get this win, go to the bye, kind of level set things. So make sure you subscribe, and we will see all of you on the next one.